So for round 5, we're going to work a standing treble with our silver yarn into any chain 1 space. Chain 2 and work another treble into that chain 1 space. Now we're going to miss a stitch and work 1 treble into each of the next 4 stitches. Miss a stitch, which will be the first of your 3 DCs. So that one there, and work a treble, 2 chain and a treble into the next stitch, which is your center DC. Miss your next DC and work a treble into each of the next 4 stitches. So miss your next stitch, which will take you to that chain 1 space, and work a treble, 2 chain and a treble into there. Miss a stitch and work 1 treble into each of the next 4 stitches. So miss a stitch, which will be that first DC, and work a treble, chain 2 and a treble into that corner space, into that corner stitch, sorry. Okay, so now you can see what effect this round's having. You've got these different edges here. So miss a stitch, which is your DC, and work a treble into each of the next 4 stitches. Miss a stitch and work a treble, 2 chains and a treble into that chain 1 space. There you go, so that's half of your circle done. So now we just need to repeat that again around here. So you'll be ending with a treble into each of the next 4 stitches, missing a stitch and then joining here. Okay, so if you finish that round, and then we'll take a look at our stitches. So I just thought I'd show you finishing off this round, because you're joining, that's your standing treble, but you're joining to that chain 1 there, to that chain that comes after your standing treble. If I can get it. There we go. So you should have, in between every chain 2 space, you should have 6 trebles. And you should have 8 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in between every one of those chain 2, you should have 6 trebles. So you should have 48 trebles in total and 8 chain 2 spaces. 6, 7, 8. Okay. So if that's all working out right, we can get our copper yarn for round 6. So we're going to join with a standing DC to any chain 2 space. Then we're going to chain 2 and work another DC into that chain 2 space. Then we're going to work a DC into each of the next 6 stitches. and then we're going to work a DC, chain 2 and a DC, and that's what you're going to work all the way around on every little corner. We're just working 6 DC into the next 6 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're working a DC, chain 2 and a DC into every chain 2 space. Okay, so that's nice and easy. So I'll see you for round 7 with the cream yarn. So now that we have our little octagon, we're going to start with a standing treble to a chain 2 space that is above a cross post from round 4, which is the denim. So we wouldn't want to be working into this one because it's not above a cross post, but this one is, so that one will do nicely. So let's join with a standing treble. Now we're going to work another treble into that same space and another one. So now we're going to miss a stitch and work a treble into each of the next 6 stitches. Then we're going to work a front post double treble around the second treble that makes that V stitch from round 5. Then we're going to work a DC into the 2 chain space. Then we're going to work a front post double treble around the first treble that makes that V. Then we're going to miss a stitch and work a treble into each of the next 6 stitches. Miss a stitch and we're working 3 trebles into the next chain 2 space. Miss a stitch and work a treble into each of the next 6 stitches. Then we're going to work a front post double treble around the second treble that makes the V from round 5. And then work a DC into that chain 2 space behind it. Then another front post double treble, but around that first post, that first treble that makes the V. Okay, so that is what we're repeating around your octagon. So we'll be missing a stitch and working a treble into each of the next 6 stitches. Then we'll be working 3, so missing a stitch, then working 3 trebles into there. Miss a stitch, work a treble into each of the next 6, and then working your front post double treble around this second post here, DC into here, and then a front post double treble into that first one. So that's what you're repeating all the way around. Okay, so if you finish that, and then we'll take a look at your stitches. So just to check our stitches for round 7, I've put a marker in the centre treble from the 3 treble that you've put into the chain 2 space. So remember that if you look at your centre treble of the 3, your stitch just sits to the right of it. Same here, that centre one there, your stitch just sits to the right of that centre post. So then in between each of your markers, not including the stitch that's on the marker, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 stitches. So that's the 1 treble on either side of your centre stitch, your 6 on either side of that, and then your 2 front post trebles with your little DC in the middle. So if you've got that on every side, we can move on to round 8. So with our storm blue yarn, we're going to join with a standing treble to any DC. So the DC is the stitch just hiding behind your little cross. So it's that centre stitch there. Then we're going to work another treble into that same stitch, chain 2 and another 2 treble. It seems a lot to fit into a little stitch, but that's what we're doing. So that's what it should look like. Then we're going to miss the next stitch, which is your front post treble, and work a treble into each of the next 7 stitches. Then we're going to work a front post treble around the next treble, which is this one, this centre one of your 3, because we've worked into this one. So we're working a front post treble around that centre treble of the 3, little cluster there. Then we're going to chain 2 and work another front post treble around that same stitch. So it just makes that little V. Then we're going to miss the next stitch and work a treble into each of the next 7. And then we're working into that DC, we're working 2 trebles, 2 chains and 2 trebles to match this one here. So then we're going to miss that front post double treble and work a stitch into each of the next 7 stitches. And then we're going to be working a front post treble around that centre treble of the 3 there. Chain 2 and another front post treble to match this one here. So you get the idea of the pattern now. So miss a stitch, and work a stitch into each of the next 7 stitches. And then we're working 2 treble, 2 chain and 2 treble into that little DC, miss a stitch, and then work a treble into each of the next 7 stitches. Then we're working, let's move that up, a treble, 2 chain and a treble around that centre treble of them 3. So if we just follow that pattern around, you'll be finishing with your 7 trebles over these stitches and then joining it with a slip stitch there. Then we'll take a look at our stitches. So for the 9th round, we're going to start with a standing treble with the black yarn to any 2 treble, 2 chain, 2 treble corner space. So that's this one here. So that one is your treble, 2 chain, treble. So we don't want that. We want the 2 treble, 2 chain, 2 treble. We're working into that space with a standing treble. Then we are going to work another treble into the same space, chain 2, and work another 2 treble. Then we are going to miss the next stitch, which is that there, we're missing that. And then we're going to work a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to work a half treble into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to work a DC into the next 3 stitches. Now we're going to work 3 DCs into the chain 2 corner space. Going to miss the next stitch and work a DC into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. A half treble into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And a treble into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And now into this corner space, which is the same as this one that we started off with here. We're working 2 trebles, 2 chain, and 2 trebles. So that is what we're repeating another 3 times. So repeat that along these 2 corners, and these 2, and then these 2. The only thing to really watch out for is where you're missing a stitch, which is here after your corner, this corner here, and then here after this corner you're missing that stitch. You're not working into that first one there. But other than that, it's just your 3 trebles, 3 half trebles, 3 DCs, 3 DCs into that corner space, 3 DCs, 3 half trebles, and 3 trebles. So if you just repeat that all the way around here. So now that you've completed round 9, in between each of your chain 2 corner spaces, you should have 25 stitches. So that'll be your 2 stitches that are going into that corner space from the previous row, from your previous round, sorry. So you've got 2 trebles into there, then you've got 3 trebles, 3 half trebles, 3 DCs, with 3 DCs in the middle here, 3 DCs, 3 half trebles, 3 trebles, and then your 2 trebles that go into the next corner space from the previous round. So that should be 25 stitches. And as you can see, the motif's taking on more of a square shape again now with your 4 corners. Okay, so now we can grab our grey yarn and move on to round 10.